Alright, so I'm gonna review the movie Smash Cut, which was apparently filmmaker says it was inspired by the life and career of Mr. Herschel Gordon Lewis. I was really excited to see this film, for one main reason only, is that it's starring Krug himself, fantastic David Hess. Also, small part from Michael Berryman and Herschel Gordon Lewis himself. Also, with, you see the cover here, that's Sasha Grey. She's an adult film star. I was really excited to see this movie, but I was a bit disappointed. And I'm gonna, for the main reason of, now this may be a stupid reason, but this is the main reason. David Hess. I was really excited to see him back in something as a bad guy, as a, well, I've never seen anything where David Hess was a good guy. But anyway, but just because he does that so well. I mean, to me, Krug is one of the best psychopathic villains in exploitation horror movie history. Hands down. So I was excited to see that. In the trailer, you could tell that it wasn't really one of those, hey, let's take this thing seriously and make a really, nasty, balls out horror film. You could tell that it was a little bit more of a, they were taking a little bit more of a comedic approach, which is fine. No big deal, as long as it's done right. Needless to say, David Hess was, his character is a hack B horror film director whose career is going down the tubes and decides to use human body parts for props in his films to make them more realistic. And the character is played very silly, but like a theatrical silly, almost like if you went to see a bad play. Now I'm going to defend Mr. Hess because I'm sure this was not his decision to play the character that way. I'm sure it was the director's decision. Well, because all the characters are played that way. It's very tongue-in-cheek, very goofy, which is fine. And I think that that also stems from where he says the movie was inspired by the life and work of Herschel Gordon Lewis. The only misstep there, I think, is that Herschel's movie, if you've seen his movies, which I hope you have, Blood Feast, 2000 Maniacs, Color Me Blood Red, well, I could go on and on, Gruesome Twosome. Yeah, the acting's bad. Yeah, it's silly, it's goofy, some of the effects aren't that great. But one, I don't think Herschel intended the movies to be that way. I don't think he went out there looking for the worst actors in the world, but I also don't think he really cared. If anybody out there has read anything, any interviews with him, he's admitted that he didn't make these movies because he liked to make movies. He made them as business ventures. I mean, he's a businessman. He's a marketing genius. The guy goes around the country and does seminars on marketing. And there's even a quote in the beginning of this movie that I don't remember exactly what it was, but basically he said, I didn't make movies because I like to make movies. I made movies because I wanted to make money. So I don't think that he necessarily sought out these bad actors, but I don't think he really cared that they were bad. I mean, he knew he was making an exploitation movie. He knew it, and he knew where what his audience wanted to see, and that was the gore and the nastiness. That's what he went after. I don't think he really cared about the acting. So, whereas this movie is it's kind of a satire, I guess, of that kind of bad acting, bad B movie type of thing. And I don't mind those kind of movies normally, but when they're done right, when they're funny, when they're inside jokes for people to get and stuff, and that wasn't really in this movie. It was just let's make some really goofy, sad characters and throw them into this situation and kind of see what happens. And that's the way I kind of felt about the film. It was just kind of loose. There was nothing really funny about it. I mean, it was silly, goofy, and it really pains me to say that because I really, really wanted to like this movie. It's not terrible. It's not one of those movies where I'd say that's an hour and a half of my life I'll never get back, and I'm angry about it. But because it's always good to see David Hess, Herschel Gordon Lewis, and Michael Berryman all on the same screen. There's nothing wrong with that. And of course Sasha Grey, she's pretty nice to look at. But just did not fulfill my expectations. But on the good side, I'm sure they had a pretty small budget, and they did a pretty good job with the budget they had. Um, the only other thing I had a problem with is the inspiration being Herschel Gordon Lewis is that, I mean, he's the godfather of gore. That was the whole center. That was the whole glue of his movies. Was the gore for him? I mean, it's what it's what he was counting on to put asses in the seats. And I'm not saying that this thing's a dry movie. There is gore, there is bloodletting, there's blood splashing on the walls, but it seems to be mostly at the end. And as the effects start to happen, they're not that great. They get better, but it's few and far between. It's not the gore fest that you would expect when somebody says, "Hey, yeah, this movie was inspired by Herschel Gordon Lewis." I mean, when I hear that, I expect to see those fantastic long shots that Mr. Lewis did, with the guts, people playing with them. None of that. It's just here and there, and the effects aren't bad at the end. Some of them are bad in the beginning, but at the end they're not so bad. On the disc, it has Sasha Grey's video diaries, which isn't much of a video diary. Usually, when it's a video diary, somebody's got the recorder themselves and they talk about the day and such stuff like that. It seems like a friend of hers followed her around while she was making the movie. A behind the scenes thing that's pretty lengthy, but albeit very boring. A gag reel, deleted and alternate scenes, and a commentary. Gag reel, pretty short. I didn't listen to the commentary because I didn't really like the movie that much. So, I don't really know who to recommend this to, because I think fans of David Hess are going to be disappointed. And Michael Berryman's not in it very long, so fans of him. And Herschel Gordon Lewis fans, I don't think they're going to get what they think they're going to get if that's the reason they're getting this movie. If you can find this to rent, which I doubt, maybe on Netflix or Blockbuster Online or something, you might be able to find it to rent. I would say rent it first for sure. But it's a disappointment for me. So it saddens me. But hey, maybe David will get some more work out of this or something. I don't know, and we can see him do what he does best, which is make us not want to meet that guy in the middle of the street. So anyway, smash cut, meh. Rent it if you can. If not, I wouldn't buy it. But anyway, till next time. See you guys later.